All right, so this is what we got here. The original speaker is this G12T-75. And contrary to what people say, I think it sounds great in this combo. The only reason why I'm swapping it out, and I had originally swapped it out for a V30 and put this one back in because I felt like it gave me the sound that I was looking for. But I like to try out different things, and here's what I'm gonna be putting in. The ET65 by Warehouse Guitar Speakers. And I've heard this back to back with old Celestion G12T-75, and they sounded almost identical. This one sounding just a hair more modern. So I'm gonna try this out in the combo amp and see if it kind of just gives me just a little bit more of what I'm looking for. Looking for just a little bit more bottom end, and looking for a little bit more of a high-end characteristic that the G12T-75 just isn't quite delivering. I'm gonna see if this one gives me that. It's also a beautiful looking speaker. I've used Warehouse guitar speakers before, and you know, I've circled around back to them because they just have phenomenal stuff. Bought this one off Reverb from someone local, and just arrived today. So when it comes to moving the speaker in and out, if this is something you've never done before, I'm gonna just walk you through it. There's 4 screws, 1, 2, 3, 4. Those come right out. Soldering. So they are soldered in, and I'm gonna show you exactly how easy it is to do. If you have a solder kit at home, I bought a solder kit off Amazon for not a whole lot of money. So I'll show you exactly how to do this, and it'll be a great project for you to tackle. And it's something good to practice on, because it's just these 2 wires to desolder and then put the new solder back on. All right, so I'll walk you through that right now. All right, so I'm gonna do my best to do this with the phone kind of in the way. The solder that I like to use, this just so happens to be the roll that I have here. But if you notice that it says 2% flux, these are actually hollow, and down the middle of these particular solder wires is the flux, and the flux basically helps to eliminate corrosion between dissimilar metals. Oftentimes you'll see people soldering and they'll paint the flux on, but this one has it inside the actual wire, so you get a small amount of that flux in there, which helps to keep the corrosion at bay. So that's what I'm going to be using. And right now I am going to just start removing. And to remove the old solder, I got this tool here. It's kind of hard for me to put this whole thing on camera. Simply put, it's a plunger type removal. Once you hit this button here, it forms a suction and takes the liquid solder out once it's at temperature, just like that. Really easy to do, and I'll demonstrate that right now. So what I'm going to do is just start heating this one up. And once I see that it's nice and liquidy, I am going to then use the plunger right there. There you go. So I should be able to just, there you go, remove that right out. I'm going to do the same thing in the top. Alright, so now that the new speakers are in, on the old speaker, these terminals were on the side here. Made it a lot easier to access, you know, over here on this side, but I wanted to keep the speaker in an upright position, so I put the terminals on this side, but honestly it doesn't really matter. It's aesthetic for me. So now I'm just gonna put the terminals back on, and I'll show you exactly how I do that. I know it's hard to see it from here, but yeah. So what I'm doing right now is I'm just securing the terminals together. The excess length here, I might just take a zip tie to it, just to keep it taut, just like that. But we'll get to that in a little bit. So let me show you what I have here. That's the terminal ends. Negative, negative is the black, positive, white. And then I'm just gonna fill in the gaps with solder and make sure that there's a nice solid connection there. And I'll take a tie wrap and I'll do this to it so that it's not dangling everywhere. All right, so what I'm gonna do is just get a length of solder and I'm gonna clip it. There you go. And so this is gonna be my rod, and I'm just gonna feed this in as it melts until I get a good connection. And I know it's gonna be a little tough to see that process, but when you're with these solder irons, also please be very careful not to touch any other part that you don't want melting on the speaker, on the amp, anywhere. It's very hot. There you go. Oop, just like that. Don't want to do that. Don't blow on it either. Just let it normalize to room temp on its own. Yeah, just keep it like that. Clip off this excess here. Alright, there you go. It's out of the way. And there is one more thing that I like to do before calling it good and closing up. And this is a 16 ohm speaker, and I just want to make sure that the connections are correct and that it's actually pulling 16 ohms. And I do that by testing out the jack input, and I'll show you exactly how to do that. I recommend always doing that, just so that you know for a fact that the speaker is pulling the correct ohms. If it isn't, then I would probably consider making new contacts with the wires or something, you know. But I'll show you exactly how to check it. All right, so with these jack inputs, the sleeve is your negative and the tip is the positive, or the live side. You're gonna switch your ohm meter to read ohms, and I'm gonna try and do this on camera here. So the sleeve is negative, so you're gonna wanna put the negative terminal onto the sleeve, make good contact. All right, and positive right here. Try and get a good contact because it's kind of jumping all over the place. So I'm reading 15, 14, 16. So 14 ohms is where it's landed at. It jumps to 15, 14. It's never going to be exact, keep that in mind, but it needs to be relatively close. So I'm happy with it being at the 14 ohms, 15, 14 ohms. All right, so now I'm just gonna close it up and take a listen to it, and that's it. Now I know it's all camera audio, which kind of sucks, but I mean, I don't have any professional recording equipment, so. But this will just give you a general idea of what it sounds like. I couldn't be happier with it, first of all. But here, let me just let you hear it. show you. This is clean.